funniest thing I ever did. All right, so anyway, you're back. Thank you for joining me today. Until you guys all get in here, I will be doing my hip exercises because I am going to have to get surgery. So right now, my my range of motion for my hip, where the issue is for here on my left side. You can see easily right to here, where I can stay upright, and this is easy. Now I do this side because my labrum issues from here to here is fine. From here to here starts to hurt. So from here to here, it's almost like it like rubs against or something. There's an abrasion or something there. So I might have to I will be getting surgery for my hip. So I'm doing some stuff to strengthen the glute and help range of motion. So this thing set up here is going to help me get to my range of motion without having to really work too hard, and then I can work on the concentric, because basically getting up and then pushing down, extension is the issue, as well as flexion. So basically push this down from here, and then the band is going to help just push my leg right up into flexion, and then I'll stay up on my toe from here, and then do that. You do about 5 sets of those. What's up, guys? I'm by myself today. It's Canada Day, so thought I'd get on here for the holidays and continue, because these are fun. Sorry, guys. Light was blaring in my eye. What questions we have here? Happy Canada. Yes, sir. What's up? How do I know I'm engaging my chest properly on presses and flies? I feel in mostly my front delts. Well, there's a couple. I'm actually going to do this right away. When we train chest, now I'm going to say, like, is this like on flat bench or this on all levels, whether it's flat, incline? Let me know. No audio? Shoot, hold on a second. There's no audio. Give me a break. Oh, cool. I can hear. All right, there you go. In all of them. Okay, so if our chest is, we can all hear. Cool. My man here can't hear me, so you figure out your stuff, bro. When it comes to like chest and all pressing movements, you have to understand, like, they're close, like your chest and your front delt are close. So most of the time I'm feeling that like it's your front delts you're feeling, not necessarily like your shoulder, right? I'm assuming it's like here. So if it's here, most of the times, because like there's you want to make sure that you can lower your shoulders, right? You can flare your arms, right? Like if you flare your elbows like this, like that's fine. But if we're here, right, that's going to stay on my chest. The higher I go in terms of like the incline is going to basically, the load's going to be primarily on the area, but the entire chest will work. So we have to be able to press our shoulders while we're pressing, and then that will keep most of the load on the chest until we've inclined enough where it's pretty high. So give you a better visual. All right. Move it. All right. So let's just go. Let me set this up so you guys can see. All right. So let's just go flat. Let's just go flat. I'll put this guy right here so you can see what I'm talking about. There you go. All right. And I'll just take dumbbells just because it'll be easier probably to see. All right. When we're doing chest, right? Can you guys see? You guys see? Probably see it better from back here. I'll put in like a spotting. It's like you're spotting me. Bam. All right. So if you see him right now, you probably can see. Right? So you can see my chest from here. Right? So it's supposed to be, I should be able to feel, if we're going to flex for you, when I flex my chest, you can see when I'm pressing, it's almost like I'm squeezing the bench of my shoulder blades a little bit. Don't mind that, right? So when I'm pressing without weight, and I'm pressing my chest in the pathway of where I'm, intending the bar to go before I actually load. So it's here, but you can see my delt. This is my, this is the top of my chest, and this is like my front delt area right here, right? And I'm pulling my shoulders down. Now, if I do this, you can see how much less tension is on my chest. Even though I'm pushing down, right? If I lift my shoulders up, you can see it goes away. And then now it's sitting on my delts. When I depress and push down, you see it gets tight right away. So when I'm pressing from here, coming down and pressing, you see the fires in my chest are firing off from here. If I load and do this, you can see how it goes away from my chest instead of my shoulders, right? So we have to push the shoulders down when we're pressing so that load stays on. And when I lower the weight, I'm actually like, I'm not thinking about like lowering the weight, like I'm not thinking in my hands. I'm almost thinking that I'm balancing at the top, I'm balancing the weight on my elbows. And as I go down, the weight stays on top of my elbows. That allows me to really feel my chest on the way down because I'm bouncing from my elbow. The reason why I say that is because your chest muscles are pulling this bone in. They're not pulling this bone in. They're pulling this bone in. And then when we're here, we're balancing that from the elbow. We're pushing from the elbow and then bouncing to get to the top where the elbow is right underneath again of the dumbbell, then coming down and the elbow's staying underneath the entire time while keeping our shoulders down. And then we get this really good connection to our chest. So similar if we're going to do it this way. Now, the best thing about doing incline is that it naturally lowers your shoulders because of the angle. So I'll give you the questions right away, guys. So just keep repeating the questions or whatever, do my best. But so similar to this, from here, because gravity is going to naturally push me down, free weights, right? When I start here, naturally, if you look, the weight is if I just let my shoulders kind of relax, like my shoulders are protracted, if I just, right, let them just sit down, my shoulders naturally push down this way. They don't ride up. For my shoulders to ride up from here, I really have to engage my traps to pull the weight up here like this. And that happens a lot because when we're in incline, remember, the body doesn't know you're training. It just knows there's a force. There's tension on the muscle. And if you're not controlling your body like you should, your body's going to do everything it can to protect it. Because this is protecting. If this thing falls, I can do this. And that's why a lot of times you see people's form look like this at the end of a set, because the body is taking over in terms of like sending off signals like, yo, you're in danger. There's a lot of tension. It's high. And it starts to do this stuff. But we want to keep ourselves in the proper position and open and pressing and letting the shoulders stay down. So think, a lot of times I like to kind of give you guys the idea of fight or flight, meaning your body's going to do everything natural to keep you safe. So fight or flight is this. Fight is this. right? If there's tension, you're not aware, and you're not engaging your core, like you're not engaged in terms of like your form in the gym. Your body's going to do naturally protect it. It's going to do this stuff. It's going to cramp up. It's going to protect you. Knees will buckle when you're squatting. All those things will do this. So we have to understand that we're controlling the environment. Open up your chest. This is like running into the fire. This is protecting yourself. We want to keep this posture in any movement that we do. Pressing from here, pressing to here, pressing to here, pulling from here, pulling from here, pulling from here, squatting, front squatting, everything stays like this. Just wanted to freaking tire there. Go to the top, sorry guys. How do I grow muscle after losing considerable amount of weight? So a big thing is when it comes to putting on muscle, you have to, super simple, very easy, 1 grams of protein per body weight. It's more than enough. If you're trying to put on muscle, 1 to 1 grams. If you're trying to lose fat, 100 grams are going to cover all the basics. That consistently will make sure you're eating enough calories and then training hard enough where you're progressing on a week to week in terms of your, you might be just adding a rep, then adding weight. Doing that over time and make that you have to do over and over and over again. So don't think that your muscle's not going to come. You got to be consistent with it. It's monotonous, but it's like it takes more time to just do that. But you got to do those things over and over again if you actually want to build muscle, regardless if you're lost a bunch of weight or, you're a newbie or whatever. Hit the subscribe button, y'all, Johnny. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. What's up? All right. I will stream an IG eventually. Just got too many things to manage at once. Johnny, should I care if the weight goes down on the scale, but I look bigger? No, that's a great problem. Understand, here's a good question too. When it comes to your goals, we have to understand body. Most of you guys are based body recomp, right? You're turning your physique into, you're changing the size of your shoulders, and you're putting on muscle, whether it's on your chest, your shoulders, you're trying to create the V-taper, whatever it is. You have to understand that things are going to change in a good way, and you might still be losing weight, and that might be your goal, but you have to see okay, what are the physical goals we're looking at as well too? So if the scale's saying, hey, I'm going in the right direction, I look in the mirror and I look bigger, mostly because you look leaner, then you're in a good place, right? The same when it comes to people who are in a deficit and their weight stalls and they start to look better, and then weight doesn't go anywhere for a bit. Well, there's a high possibility that you're building muscle as well too. So always be aware of all variables when measuring your success, your weight, your scale, your scale, your the mirror, how your clothes fit, those things, right? Just got in cardio, same pain in your leg, hip. Do you stretch before? I do stretch before I train, but it's more so it's not necessarily static stretching, more so than getting dynamic movements into positions, squat positions, doing some hip exercise and whatnot. And then after I do stretch. But my hip, in terms of my hip issues, it's not mobility right now. It's an actual labrum tear because my dumbass decided to lift a bunch of heavy weight when I was younger, actually in the last decade, and do steroids and inject in that area. So yeah, unfortunate. Hey Johnny, what are you doing overhead cable tricep extensions using the rope? Both arms at a time. Should I be flaring my elbows? No, don't flare your elbows. You flare your elbows, you take tension away, right? If I just do this with no weight, right? If I just do this with no weight, not much tension. If I do this with weight, I feel tension automatically. So we want to be here, right? When we're doing it here, whether you're doing it with a cable or a rope, you're doing your best to keep your elbows in, right? Not if mobility is the thing. You got to work on your mobility to get yourself in a better position. Then make sure you're working your mobility. But yes, I hope I can use all the dumbbells, bro. Hey Johnny, so, if I do sumo deadlifts and a roll on the same leg day, should my RDLs be more stiff leg? So So your RDLs are like RDLs are stiff leg. I don't know it's going to be like an RU and a half, but like people get really redundant when it comes to terminology and the Romanian deadlifts or stiff leg deadlifts. It's the same thing. There's like there's not as much movement in your knees or like your shins aren't moving, but you're still working your hamstring, right? So if you're doing sumos, yeah, for sure, because sumos you're still getting your glutes and hamstrings and abductors. But when it comes to hamstrings, now we can really focus on, RDLs, we can focus on hamstrings and glutes primarily and a good position. So, you know, whether you're stiff, I'm using dumbbells, but whether you're, hinging like this and getting down and we're keeping a nice, straight leg, great. You can bend if you want to as well. It's still an RDL. Your glutes and your hamstrings are doing most of the work. And that sucks a load because my hip is. No problem, DJ. How does alcohol and creatine affect each other? Okay, so put it this way: creatine helps put water into the muscle. It makes the most basic way to say this. Creatine helps put water in the muscle to help grow muscle. Alcohol dehydrates you. So, right? And then all the other things inside, alcohol that aren't really good for growth anyway. So, oops. Perfect, Tracy. Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I should read out loud. Tracy said, I rarely came across you right when you said fight or flight. That puts everything into perspective. Thanks. Good, appreciate it. I was like taking like real life things, and I think what's funny? The gym, nutrition, health, and wellness has been completely overcomplicated to nth degree. My goal is for you to understand what is necessary to really know about you and how you work, and then what's necessary to do to get to your goals, right? And I've done all the things, I've done to the extreme and whatever. But for me, when it comes to like learning, just like taking real life, things that we can relate to and, translated that into the gym, because really the gym is just like a small sample size of society and how your body responds in the gym environment. The gym is very controlled for yourself more than outside in society, right? Yeah, there's other factors in the gym. Someone could piss you off or whatever, but how you control yourself in the gym, your form, your technique, your the inner battles you might have of doubting you can do a set or being fearful of a certain weight or progression or whatever it is, it's you there. So if we can just like understand that there's not much of a difference and use some of the skills or the things that can relate to in the gym, it makes understanding the gym a little easier, right? If that makes any sense. I got nice biceps, but triceps are on the verge of extinction. Train them. Put a day together where you train triceps. You can train triceps a lot, right? You can train triceps. If you're doing a push-pull legs, you can train triceps on chest day. You can train triceps on the next push day with your shoulders. And you can train your triceps on another day, whatever. Or if you're doing a 5-day split, you can do the same thing, right? You can have a full arm day. You can do chest, triceps, back, biceps, legs, shoulders, triceps, and then arms. It'll be fine. And I would do that. Sometimes you just genetically don't have those things. You genetically have great biceps, but then some to my poor chest. Devontae Adams, I get that a lot. Yo, Devontae Adams. I was mistaken for Devontae Adams in Vegas, obviously because that's where he is. And I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm Devontae. Unfortunately, I'm 5'8", and Devontae's like 6 foot. Like he's way taller than me. You know what I mean? Like, if you think that I'm 6 foot, shoot, appreciate it. Thoughts on PEDs? Know the risks. It's like reason why I try to get people to understand them and understand the possible side effects or the extremely bad outcomes that can happen if you do not take those in consideration. And so I'm never going to tell you not to do it. I'm going to say I'm going to just let you know, because for myself, like I drive a Ducati 1199, and it's like I push the limit on it here and there, right? More than here and there, regardless. But just like when I do that, I know getting on my bike that if I'm careless, I will kill myself. All right, I will get myself killed if I'm careless. But even though if I'm not careless, even if I got all the control in the world, there's still things that I have to understand, that there's dangers of being on a bike. I can get hit by somebody, the ground might have some gravel on it, or I get, real brave one day and decide to go, mock it down the straightaway, and then like a deer comes out. I know that I know the ramifications, the risks that come with getting on a bike. So my job is to be as smart as I possibly can, and respect the hell out of that machine, and get on. And that's how I kind of look at steroids, right? I'm not gonna say don't do it. I'm gonna say, like, if you decide to, understand that you need to get your damn mental health in check. If your mental health is not in check, and you got issues, mental health issues, in terms of like your anger or depression or whatever it is, and you don't have that sorted out, don't get on steroids. If you have it sorted out, understand that you're gonna have to manage the heck out of it, right? Understand all the things that come with it. You know what I mean? And that's that's my thoughts on steroids. I'll do a bunch of videos on steroids, actually. I feel like I should talk more about it. It's just the algorithm doesn't really like us talking about it. So anytime, man. No problem. Posh. What do you look for in a man? Like a buddy? If I look for a buddy, yeah, don't go that way. Maybe if you need some help, I can help you out. Is it okay? There you go. Is it okay to do incline bench press and incline dumbbell press in the same session? For sure, 100%. It's funny because I feel like for the most part, we don't have to change a lot. You can get away with just doing incline. Just like you said, incline dumbbell, incline barbell, the same incline, and you're just basically doing X amount of sets of that same muscle group and just using a different tool. The bar will get you certain depth, and then the dumbbells will get you even more depth. It's completely fine, right? If you look at just the entire grand scheme of things, we want to do like 3 to 12 sets per muscle group. Well, your body's not like, oh, I guess you're only doing incline. Guys, turn off the pec major, right? It's like, that could be 2 exercises of 8 sets of 4 sets of incline dumbbell, 4 sets of incline Smith. So 100%. If you're doing 20 sets, it's like, no, that makes no sense. Which one is good? Keep the arms 90 degrees on lats or 45 while incline. As long as you can depress your shoulder, like I'll show you, right? When I do if I'm doing a back relax, this is why it's really important. I'm gonna do a bunch more videos on posing, because posing will help you train way better. If I do a back relax, this is a back relax. The back relax is a combination of shoulder anterior rotation, like my lats do this, and then they pull my shoulder down itself. So if I open my chest up and then do the same thing, I get this. Now, my shoulders are locked in place, or like my clavicle. Think of like my shoulders this way. They're locked in place. I can do this and still have my shoulders down. The difference is when people do this, they end up doing this as well too, and that's the difference. So I can be flared and still have my lats engaged, and then keep my chest engaged as well too. So when you can learn to do this and press, that's when it's easy for you to be able to feel the muscle you're trying to use. The reason why most of you guys don't feel the muscle you're using is because you don't know how to flex that muscle, and it's not your problem. No one in your life is telling you to do this. This is not common. What's common is doing this. This is common. This is common. This is common. Doing this is common, right? So your body's gonna do it's used to the normal things that your body does on a daily basis. Your body very rarely ever says, I don't know, pull your shoulders down, right? So, yeah. And I'm mostly struggling with proper food. What would be an easy daily menu, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Okay, so here's some really good tips for nutrition. Okay, number one, you're not going to try to change breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If your issue is with food and nutrition, that is a habit just like training. And this is what I tell my clients. When we start, my main focus is, okay, we're training in nutrition, cardio, all good stuff. When it comes to training, I need to get that person to be very efficient at moving. And it will be easier to do that when you're going to the gym 3 to 6 days a week and you're doing reps. Every rep you do is you getting better and better and better. So I know that will start making changes to the body immediately, right? You'll start feeling it, muscles, this, not that, and the other. Your nutrition is something that I know is going to take time, because doing a rep of meal prepping or eating a certain that takes that you don't do as many, right? You don't do it that often. You're not meal prepping 100 meals a day. You go to the gym, you'll do at least 100 reps, right? So when it comes to nutrition, you're just gonna find out, you don't got it down right, cool. If you don't eat breakfast hardly ever, you skip it all the time, then you're gonna learn how to make breakfast. You're gonna learn how to have breakfast. Your breakfast meal, super simple, could be like, 3 to 4 whole eggs with some kind of like grain. It could be like 2 slices of bread that are like 150 calories max. And then, if you want to add like fruit with it, take out that bread, replace it with more fruit. Take out that bread, replace it with cream of rice, cream of wheat, oats. Take out that bread and use it and replace it with greens and make an omelet, and then have some fruit on the side. Replace that omelet with, just a couple eggs and then maybe some peanut. You know what I'm saying? You could do that, or make a shake. Take that entire ingredient in terms of macronutrients. A couple of scoops of Iso Smooth, right? Nice little job. Couple scoops of protein, some actual nut butter, some whatever you like, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, or maybe 2, depending on how much you want in there. Put some frozen blueberries in there. If you want to have a little more thicker with some carbs in the morning, throw some oats in there. Blend it up right there, and you're good to go. Put some almond butter, some almond milk or cashew milk or 1% milk or whatever. And then make sure the calories of that entire thing aren't exceeding ridiculousness, or they're not going to, start your meal off, just don't worry about that. Or just get that part done. Get that. Do that. And then once you've tackled that, and you've that is like second nature to you, you wake up in the morning and you've got a routine that you're always eating breakfast, and you're like, I got it. Then we're going to move on to lunch. And then depending on how fast it takes you to create that habit, it will determine how long it will take you to start, to really, get a hang of nutrition. So don't try and change things all at once. But very simple, easy way, I just said, your second, third, and fourth meal, if you want to, can be like rice, chicken, meat and veggies and carbs. Meat, carbs, and grains if you want to. And do that 3 times, 4 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day. Hey, John, I see you are doing great. I am, thank you. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you. You're a great motivator. Thank you. I just faith and our workouts. Oh, is that? Oh, shoot. Okay, cool. What up, Les? I know her. Cool. I missed it too, man. We got to do it again. Sorry, guys. I love training in person. Am I LBGTQ? I am not. I'm not at all. And that's no shot to whoever is in LGBT. You would know if I would know how to say LGBTQ. Yeah, but no. Devontae Adams? Yes, I get that all the time. Does creatine negatively affect your kidneys? No. The reason why people think that creatine negatively affects the kidneys is a couple of things. When you get blood work back, there's 2 parts on your blood work that will say creatinine, which is linked to your kidney, and then creatine kinase, which is basically how much protein, or I would say like muscle protein, whatever, is in your urine through your how much muscle or proteins in your blood through urine. So hearing those 2 words, and then most times, and this is from experience, doctors will be like, hey, your creatine kinase is really high. You got to stop training. What are you doing? And I'm like, whatever, creatine. And I'm like, it's bad, which is not. So that link has made people think that your kidneys are in danger if you do creatine, which is not. We create creatine in our body normally. What does affect your kidneys is not hydrating, is not keeping electrolyte balance in check. That affects your kidney. So if you don't want kidney issues, drink water. A gallon a day, 4 liters a day for Canadians or UK, whatever, and just start there and you're fine. I missed that. I guess I have had issues with gyno. So I did the video, guys. Check the last video I did. It's got Greg and Doc Mike on the front. It says bad on it. I did get gyno a couple times, and I knew it was from DECA. So I knew that side effects would come for like gyno and basically erectile dysfunction from DECA. So I stopped doing DECA. For me, I didn't have enough of it, or it wasn't so pronounced. For me, I just took like literally electro, and that's a lot, letrozole, which is a stronger estrogen medication that will actually like help reduce estrogen. So I did that for a few weeks, and then gyno went away. Then I was like F DECA, and I've never had any kind of gyno issues after that. So if you're doing gear, make sure you're taking AIs, and it'll help with AIs will help with your gyno. Also, could be just adipose tissue, fat, but as well too, it's going to be dose related. So if you're doing a lot of something, just understand that it's probably the dose you're using and probably substance as well too. Hey John, I can't feel my lats no matter what I do. Nice. And have also made sure my form is correct. Please help. So my man here, what's the name again? Your death. So the reason why you can't feel lats is what I said earlier. I'm sure if you guys earlier heard me talk about or saw me or were paying attention to me talking about engaging my lats, press whatever the button is that makes the icons go up. I want to know if everyone's engaged in this conversation, so I know this, because I will repeat myself because it's important. So smash whatever that is, that button that makes me see you're paying attention to that. If not, either way, reason why you can't feel your lats, it's your form. And here's the thing though, when it comes to like form is a level. And what I look at is, there's form in terms of levels. Level 1 of muscle mind connection form is being able to do the movement correctly. Like if you're doing a pull-up, you're doing your best to keep proper alignment. The next level after that is more so being able to actually activate the muscle. So I can go on the ground and do a push-up and just come out here, and I can go like this, and I did a push-up, right? That doesn't mean that I felt my chest, and that's a big thing, is understanding that we want to be able to activate the muscle and then load that activated or engaged muscle. So when it comes to like, say, doing like pull-ups, and those are pretty hard to start, but it's also why I always emphasize making sure that we get the full contraction at the top so we can feel the lats. I've got a video coming out, and I went over how the lats actually work, so you know what they actually do, and that's going to give you better understanding of how to activate them. But mostly the lats do this to the shoulder, and they pull it down. They pull it down this way, or they pull it down this way, right? And then the teres major does the exact same thing. The only difference is that the teres major is attached to your scapula, like your shoulder blade, and attaches to the same part of your arm. Regardless, when we're doing pull-ups, or trying to activate our back, and I'll keep, there you go. We're trying to activate our back, we're doing pull-ups. The problem with pull-ups is we get a couple cues that are like to pinch your shoulder blades together like that, right? And then pull. Right now, that is my traps and my biceps in my forearm doing most of the pull. That I don't feel my lats. I feel my lats when I do this. Right? You can see the difference. My lats are literally pulling, like this part of my lat goes from my hip, connects to like right down my spine to the middle of my shoulder blades, and attaches to here, right? And it pulls this arm down. So if my hand's above head, you can see the difference of my lats. We're literally pulling everything up. And then from here, my lats are working. It's the difference between that and this. There's a big difference. So you might think you're doing a good pull-up and go in that direction or whatever exercise you're doing, but if we're not engaging the lats, that's why you don't feel your lats when you're doing an exercise, even though you think you're doing it well, and you probably are. The thing is that your body doesn't really understand. Your body doesn't know the difference between, just knows tension. You constantly have to know what that tension feels like to then take control over your body and then adjust yourself so you can actually feel your lats. So, yeah, a couple things you can do. Try this at least. I'll show you this. So easy one to try to just like trying to get more. All right. So if you just put your hands like you could even put it on your desk. Well, put your hands on like this part of your hand on your desk or a bar, and then elbows out to the side. And then I want you to push with your elbows out this way. I want you to push down from your palm to this elbow to here and do this. And you can see my lats start to pull. Do that and just hold it, like trying to pull it and hold like this. All right, and keep your chest up. You don't want to do this. If you start doing this with your traps, you're not going to feel it. So I'm basically doing this and I'm pushing down like this. Try that a few times. Bro, how do I get triceps? Bro, how to get triceps, no equipment. Do push-ups and dips, close grip push-ups and dips like this. And down. Get like 2 books or something to raise you up a little bit on the side so you get nice and deep. And you want your elbows to come back like this and then up. And you can do that. Try those. You look like familiar. Like you're old. Whoever said that is my age. Thank you. What's your inspiration in life? My inspiration in life, I don't know, just to do the best I can to touch people's lives in the most positive way I can through my talents. That'd be my inspiration. My motivation is trying to be as successful as I possibly can so my kid can have everything she needs. Yeah. That's gonna close me die on a motorcycle. Sorry. From reckless oncoming driver. Will never ride bike. Yeah. It's it's a hard conversation. I'm not even gonna have that. I completely respect that. 100% I respect it. I respect that. All I can say is just that I totally get it. I understand. It's just, I get it. How to explain my mother that protein powder is not steroids. I love that. It's so common, right? Steroids are anything from the source that makes muscle steroids. Tell your mom how protein is actually made. Just literally, and that's all it takes. So, like, I remember when I told my mom that I was doing steroids. Like I remember that day, and she was cool. She wasn't cool with it. She respected that what I told her was educational, right? So if you just tell the person, tell your mother, hey mom, this is what protein is, and you tell her that protein is, comes from, it's just like comes with like milk and it's manufactured and yada yada yada. Like it's that simple. Like go on YouTube and bring up a YouTube video from I don't know whoever on how protein's made and let her watch it with you, and she'll be like, oh, I get it. Like yeah, tell her like yo, know those Ensure drinks that old people have to drink when they get older. My dad has them, and she'll be like, I know Ensure drinks. Like that's protein. She'll be like, that's not steroids. So try that. Thoughts on D-ball on cycle? I was never a fan of D-ball because it gave me D-ball. Sorry, D-ball was 100% one that gave me gyno. 100%. Do not like it at all. But it made me too puffy, and when you're done it just I was already a water. I always held water. I just always did. So I didn't like anything that gave me more water. So D-ball was a very short-lived thing for me. I don't recommend it. I was more of a T-ball type person because of the water retention. But again, Um, yeah. And it's like also like, what are you trying to do with it, right? It's I feel like there's when it comes to like use like steroid use. I remember I'm gonna say his name, Greg. He'd always have this comment or the saying, basically like play. Don't you have to play the whole deck, right? You don't have to play the D ball card. You don't have to play the trend card. Like depending on where you're at in your journey, or for the most part overall, you don't have to play all these cards, right? And again, like when it comes down to like usage anyway, I'm always gonna say, did you play I did everything I possibly could to build muscle, card. And when I started using, I was 20 years old, and I finished playing. I was grown. I would say that's 20 is grown. I say that. I definitely didn't hit my peak genetic ability, but I was extremely strong at 28, fast, like all those things. So I, got to a place in my life where I was very naturally fucking strong. So if you're not even close to that yet, I don't even add that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you're competing and stuff like that, whatever. Another conversation. Anytime, man. Is it if it's kidneys from experience? From experience, well, if it affects your kidneys from experience, it's because you were not drinking enough water. Hi, I have a muscle disability called my legs are getting pretty weak. Do you have any tips to start leg strength? So I don't know the disability, so I have to check on that. So I don't want to give you um, bad advice because you're just coming from a place of ignorance. But when it comes to just building muscle, like building strength in your legs, I would say proper squat form. You don't have to load the muscle. I would say start off doing like goblet squats. If it's something where in terms of like stability in your muscle disability and whatnot, I would do things like isolation movements, leg extensions, leg curls. Those are fine to start. Progressive overload in terms of like making sure the reps are longer and you're fighting a rep here and there. But I gotta know about it first. I don't want to give too much if I don't know. But yeah. Opinions on lengthened partials. I think they're great. I think they're a great tool, but I think they're a great tool to use at the end. That's for me. Like I think it's a great, if you're like, it's a good way to milk the heck out of a set, right? If I'm doing, flies and I can no longer get all the way up, but I can at least get to here. I'm gonna just, do some long length partials. I think they're a great finisher for sure. But I wouldn't do long length partials at the beginning of my set. I just don't find it necessary. Obviously there's science behind a lot. Doesn't really necessarily matter as much whether I load from here to here or all the way up. I find just from a total standpoint of just having better overall control and tension to the muscle and just form wise, I would always use or leave partials to the end of a set when I couldn't get the full range anymore. Sneeze. Sets versus rest periods for building muscle. What do you think? 1 minute, 2 minutes longer, and do you work another opposite muscle group apart when you rest? So the reason, okay, so it's basically your answer. Short answer is basically 2 minutes, and the reason why it's 2 minutes when it comes to building muscle, or I would say programming or training to get stronger, have different rest periods, loads, and whatnot. When we're talking about just building muscle, the reason why we want to rest 2 minutes is because it keeps the tension, um, at its highest for the entire workout, right? So when it comes to building muscle, hypertrophy, we want to, train at least, from 30% to like 85% of one rep max. Something in between like maybe 60, 75, whatever, doesn't matter. That range. If we rest too long, then tension starts to decrease. So if we want to keep tension and muscles, and stimulate your muscle at its highest, then we want to make sure that tension stays at its highest from set to set to set, right? And then you build more muscle that way, or you have a better opportunity or environment of building more muscle. So waiting longer is just going to take tension down, right? And then you have to kind of build back up. So it's always good to be at that place, tension is highest. You rest a little bit, it goes down, it goes right back up to its highest instead of going all the way down and never really going back up. If that makes sense. Big muscle and small muscle, good idea. Cool. Love your videos, man. I get insane pump with triceps and struggle to get pump on biceps. Do you have some tips? So, a couple things. If you're trying to get a pump in your biceps, find exercises that will put you in an optimal position to put a stretch on your bicep and then flexing through each movement. So, fairly simple. I don't mean to say very simple, like, you guys don't get it, because you do. But, so let's just do this. So if I'm having trouble, feeling my biceps, I know that from here, if I'm in a position like this and doing like just cable curls, I know from here, I can really feel the muscle because there's tension because of the cable, but from here is not much, right? If anything's being challenged the most, is going to be my traps because it's pulling me down this way. So if I got in a place like this where it's already pulling me back, and then instead of just bending the arm and doing this, right? If you look at my arm right now, right? Here's the difference between it being not flexed and lifting. Right now, look, I'm lifting and not flexing. This is what flexing and lifting looks like, right? Look at the shape of my arm, right? My arm's flexed, my arm's not. And a lot of people do this all the time, right? And before you know it, like if you look at it like right now, my chest does help stabilize the shoulder in this position, right? My delt works a bit, but even though I'm doing the curl, I'm really only feeling it when it's getting a pump. If I want to feel it more, I want to flex right away, right? When I'm flexing my tricep, I'm pulling my bicep. It's opposing muscle. And then when I flex up, you can see how much more activation I'm getting when I'm actually curling. And that is putting a lot more tension on my bicep than just grabbing the weight and then lifting it. And that's a big difference when people train and feeling the muscle, right? Both have good form. Both is great form, but one is actually going to feel the muscle a lot more than the other. And that's where I want to get you guys to understand when it comes to lifting. It's how to position yourself and use the other muscle groups to aid isolating the muscle that you're trying to train. Johnny, what are your thoughts on mild use of juice? Like 200 T with some VAR, I found the risks and negatives pretty mild. So here's the thing. I work with a lot of clients who are on TRT because they need to, and I have those that are prescribed TRT that need it and get more than they need, and then those who are bodybuilders, and then those are natural. When your body needs TRT, right, that means your test is low enough that when you use test, it brings you back to a healthy level. You get the adverse side effects when you go above what your body needs. When you're going above the range, and I've seen testosterone levels triple, like I'm talking 3,000 nanograms per deciliter from only doing like 200 to 300 milligrams of test. So understand that what is actually necessary in terms of like dosages. I know for my body that 100 to 150 was really, really good. And I was almost just as strong when I was on grams. I'm dead serious. I got video proof. It's from 3 years ago when I prepped for the Tampa Pro and I got sick. Go there, look at it. It's nuts. Either way, I would always look at that first, right? Do it under doc supervision. Start off low, regardless. Just start off low. You don't need, you want your body to run optimally. So if you're gonna go down that road and you're not a competitor, get your body, like, get some tests done. Go, I'm sure you guys can get your blood work and whatnot, but do the amount that allows you to stay within the healthy range, because you'll maximize the use of TRT as well as stay healthy. People who use TRT, who get prescribed it from doctors, are 100% healthy. It's just like, if you're vitamin B12 deficient or something deficient, and your doctor gives you something to help that deficiency come back to efficiency, there's no side effects, right? There's no side effects. Once your body's going over the range of what it needs, that's when you start seeing the adverse side effects. So start off with, just start low, and then be like, oh, like, determine whether or not it actually has benefits from a lower dose, and then be like, I know for sure if I just blast this much, I'm gonna have results. Either way. Any tips on lowering back, any tips on lower back getting fried after squats? Core engagement, massive core. If you're not engaging your core, your lower back is going to take the load. When you're squatting, you have pressure coming from here, push you down, and pressure from the ground coming up. Basically, you're getting compressed. And what's in the middle? Your lumbar spine. So if you don't engage your core engagement means like flexing your abs. Flexing your abs makes your erectors engage as well too, plus engaging your lats. So if you look at like your lats, where they're attached, they attach to your shoulder, a bunch of ribs, then to your actual hip, they stabilize this way, and then your core, your TVA, they stabilize this way. So if we can keep that engaged when we're squatting, then we keep pressure off our lower back, and then we don't have this big pump in our lower back. And the reason why you feel that pump is because of that. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom, guys, because I missed a bunch of questions. What's your thoughts on smoking weed before your workout? Have at her. Oh shoot, is that like bad advice? It's legal here. I find it's great. Absolutely. Absolutely. For me, ultra focused. Now again, for me, it's gonna be like a sativa thing. So I'm not gonna indica, not a chance. I'll go to sleep. Sativa, like a limonene or a terpene wise. I'm a weed nerd. Either way, sativa is really good. Pre-workout sativa, ultra focus, sensitive to like good music and sound. I highly enjoy it. Can I use hexagon dumbbells to do pullovers? You can. I use them all the time. Show right now. I think I did a bunch of videos on using the hex bars. Dumbbells. So I'll give you guys an idea what it looks like. And this is even a 40. So here you go. I'll go this way. So back here, you're gonna see this, probably not. Set her up, right? Get yourself down. I like doing it this way. You can do it parallel with the bench. Hand here underneath, just like, make a little triangle like this underneath. Reach your other hand over, tuck in, and pull up. And the same idea. And then pulling back, keeping arms straight, chest up, and pulling over. So you can just basically do this. You see that? Just doing this. Can you demonstrate proper form for a muscle up? I can't. You know why? Because I'll smash my head up here. So I would next time, I will, but if I do here, I could get through head, but I'm just not trying to do that on this. I will 100% do it one day. Oops. The hand position is for the exercise. I like it, to be honest. The bigger the dumbbell, the easier it's kind of get your hand all across. But I like it. It's not for everybody. I'm gonna do straight arm pull. I'm gonna do straight arm pull downs before. If I have a choice, it's straight arm pull downs. Then or if I have a Nautilus pullover, is doing that first, and then straight arm. And then if I don't have anything else, I'll do dumbbell. Hey Johnny, I'm a beginner lifter, and recently I've started to not be sore at the gym. Should I push harder? No, nope. It just means your body got used to the stimulus. You started off, and your body's like, "What the heck?" And then you got DOMs, and now it's acclimated to the environment, and you just continue to. I'm not saying don't push hard. Continue to always, progressive overloads in a, smart way. Don't just try to press a bunch of weight. Keep intensity high. Keep your effort high. Keep form, consistent for sure. But you're not always going to feel sore. You might feel sore if you say go from like a build phase to a strength phase and back to a build phase, and you go from a lower rep range to a high rep range, or you add more weight, or you do an exercise you haven't done in a long time. So there's ways you can feel it, but don't think that if you're not sore, you're not making progress. Love from Kashmir. Cool. Appreciate you guys. Can you show a proper form of a dumbbell press? That'll be my last one. Hey, John, I'll do that in a second. Hey, Johnny, been a while. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Archie. Quick exercise for biceps. If only feel an elbow. Love it. Love you guys that you guys correct each other. Love that. Do different hand positions help with pull-ups, or is it a matter of? So hand position does help with pull-ups. So there are a couple things, and I'll do the dumbbell one. That'll be the last thing, guys. So hand positioning for pull-ups do a couple things. Number one, if my arms go this way, my lats are still working. My lats pull this bone, this shoulder, right? This bone here, and it pulls it down this way, does that, and it pulls it down this way, right? My mid trap pulls my shoulder lays down this way as well too. And then it also does this. When I'm doing a pull up, like if I'm this way, my lats are still working. What's making the difference is I'm getting a lot of forearm and bicep. So think of if I was doing a hammer curl, I got a lot of strength doing a hammer curl. So doing a pull up this way, I'm gonna have a lot more bicep help. Doing a pull up this way, I'm gonna because of the orientation of my hand, I'm pulling this way, and where my bicep is, I'm not gonna get that much in terms of bicep. I'm gonna get a lot more forearm from pulling. So more forearm and lats, forearm lats, right? And then we do supinated, right? Whoops. Then we're doing supinated. We're at semi-supinate here. We're getting a lot more bicep, all the bicep, right? Bicep, forearm, bicep, forearm. And that helps, and that's what's aiding you lifting, right? When my shoulders get to here, my biceps help me get the rest of the way because it helps me with this to that extra level there. Same with this way and this way. All right, I'm gonna show you guys the dumbbell press, and then I'm gonna call it a day. All right, proper dumbbell press form. And we're gonna do it on a incline. Anytime, guys. Anytime. If you want more of this, guys, join my school community. Okay, so incline press, it's gonna be the same with all presses when it comes to dumbbells. You're going to have them on your knees at some point, and you're gonna be kicking them back. So easy way to do this is, have them on the edge of your knee, not here, because that'll be harder. But you wanna go from here to here. Now, you wanna just be able to, lift your knee up, flex your elbow, your arm a bit to help pull it up. So you can do whatever side you are. I like going right first. Doesn't really necessarily matter. But I want to kick the elbow up and keep my elbows in, right? I don't want them flaring out. So keep them in tight. Push back, rock one, then the next one into position. Do not start. Now we have them here, basically stacked, the joints are stacked, fists and elbows. We're in a good position here just to get ourselves readjusted. So reset your feet, get your butt in the back of the bench, chesting me up a little bit, right? Now we're gonna roll our shoulders kind of backward from the ears. And then we're gonna open up our shoulders a bit, right? We don't have to have them all out here. A little bit of an angle from here. Right from here, then pressing up. We want to make sure that the arm becomes basically 90 degrees or from here to here. This is the job. This is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve shoulder adduction, meaning I'm pulling this, my bicep bone is going from here to straight, right? So from here, pressing up, keep your head up, chest up, right? The entire time, think of almost doing like an inverted row. If you want to think that, you're pulling yourself down and then getting deep, and you're pushing yourself into the back of the bench, right? We're pushing yourself down again. We don't want to push your shoulder blades up. Think about you're going down, and then think you're pushing yourself into the ground. And down, and then into the ground. That pull at the bottom from here, you should feel it in your feet, in your glutes, your lats, in here to help push this thing back up. So on the way down, I feel this in my feet as well too. Flat on the ground. And that is it, guys. I gotta go. I appreciate you guys again coming up, asking questions. Appreciate you, man. More videos out, guys. Appreciate you all. And until next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.